Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Sky Fantasy Football podcast by Fantasy Football Hub. So the Premier League has restarted with a bang. The next raft of fixtures have been released. What a time to be alive. We have everything covered here regarding Sky Fantasy Football. I'm joined as usual by two of the most successful managers in the game. Firstly, Paul McAnulty. Paul, a decent first week back?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Thanks, Andrew. Managed to navigate through without making any additional transfers on top of what I was originally planned. So that's a bonus for me. And points have been okay as well.
Good work. And we also have Dan the Man Cox with us. Dan, big question for you. Did you have the stadium noise on or off during the live matches?
On, yeah. Got to have the fake crowd noise.
You had it on, did you? I much preferred it without.
I didn't like it.
I don't know why. You didn't at all, did you?
No.
Apart from when Leno got injured. That was a bit of a sickly noise there, whoever heard that.
No.
So as we are live, please feel free to join in the chat at any time. Don't be shy, say hello, let us know your thoughts on the topics throughout the relevant sections, and feel free to ask some questions for us to answer at the end. Good evening, George, in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please press the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen and set the alert so you don't miss our live streams. So we have a jam-packed show this evening as we will be discussing a review of Game Week 45 and so far into Game Week 46, the new fixture release analysis and the key points to come out of this, the best transfer and captain options for the next week. We will answer some community and live question as well, and we'll have a quick look at the top of the Hub's £250 second half league. We will have Dan's weekly rant, and this week we will finish with some exclusive Sky Game information for next season from Dan, which Paul and I don't know about yet, so we are very, very excited to hear it along with everyone else. So let's not mess about, gents. Firstly, Dan, could you talk us through the key points of the Friday and Saturday games?
Yeah, I'll start you with the... hang on, I lost my notes. Bear with me. So with the Manchester City-Arsenal game, that De Bruyne, again, like I ain't got him, 14 points, goal, man of the match, shot tier 2, just so annoyed. Like I had Aguero, and I captained Aguero because I thought I was quite hopefully come on. And, you know, he could have got 2 goals, couldn't he? Like, he hit the post and then the one just in the side net. But, again, De Bruyne, the man to have 14 points. Not a lot else really caught my eye with that, especially not Arsenal. Like, you wouldn't... I know, like, they lost again yesterday, but I was thinking about Aubameyang, but, yeah. But De Bruyne, you just got to have him, ain't you? I don't have him, but you have got to have him. It's unbelievable. Southampton, Norwich, Armstrong, 7.4 million, 14 points, goal, assist, tier 2 shots, 72 points for the season now. He's a good little player. Like, I think Paul's mentioned him before. He was good. Again, who I don't have, and I'm getting pretty pissed off. Fernandez, again, like 14 points, goal, man of the match, shots, tier 2, 10.1 million. He's going to be at least another $1 million more expensive next season. I'm pretty devastated. You know, he needs to... it's too late now, isn't it, really? You sort of, when a player like that, you kind of hope he won't carry on in the form he is because he's just going to get priced up too much. But, yeah, another 14 points. So, in the 6 games he's played for United, he's got 58 points. That's just unreal. I could go through the 6. So, 6 points, 5 points, 14, 4, 5, 14. Again, you just got to have him. I don't, but annoying. Ings again. Well, sorry, going back to the Norwich Southampton. Ings, who was my captain, and I would have been pretty pleased. I was pleased with the goal, an assist. He did get a yellow card, which was annoying. Got a man of the match. He was only 1 tackle and a shot away from getting bonus there as well. So that's a bit annoying. But I was quite pleased with having Ings as captain until Fernandez got like jamming pen. That was that. Watching Spurs, I thought Kane looked pretty awful. Like, I know it's the first game back and he hadn't played football since January, but I sort of had thought about Kane, getting him in, and I just think, no, it's just too deep in here all the time. I don't know. Son probably is a better option. Going on to Saturday with Leicester, Soyuncu, 67 passes, so he got his tier 1. No clean sheet, and I think a few people had him captain. James Justin, he got passes and tier 2 tackles. He's good. He's going to play. cheap. Again, Arsenal are rubbish. Then on to Wolves. Jimenez, a goal, tier 1 shots, 9 points. A lot of people had him as captain. Traore, again, assist, man of the match. He was only on for half an hour or so, wasn't he? But 7 points, assist, man of the match, and he looked good. Great cross for that goal. He was, I think people had the doubts about him, but if you got him in the team, you just got to leave him in now. And one I think you'd mentioned before, Van Aanholt, assist and clean sheet. You know, they've got a single game day coming up, and they Palace against Burnley. Maybe he is an option. So that was the little notes I had for the weekend. I hadn't really looked at today's at all.
You seem to have missed Dean Henderson's haul on Wednesday night.
Oh yeah. What did he get? How many points did he get?
15 points.
15 points, man of the match, wasn't he?
I think he was quite highly captained in this group, because I think I remember last week. I think you captained him, Paul, did you?
Yeah, I don't have De Bruyne. So.
Yeah, and there were some guys in the chat
I
captained him,
I captained Aguero. Yeah, that was it. Actually, I was pretty gutted, actually, because I should have captained Henderson. Yeah, I had forgot about that, actually.
Looking at the players we've just kind of mentioned then, and looking at Van Dijk this evening again, it'd be interesting next year, looking at kind of Henderson, Van Dijk, Bruno, and KDB. They're obviously, I wouldn't say they're essential, if I don't like to kind of use the word essential, but they're as essential as they come. And I wonder if just rotating the captaincy around those kind of players, instead of going, for the Salah hat tricks, which happens kind of once or twice a season, or the Aguero hat tricks. I wonder next year whether that's actually a much more kind of viable, strategy, because it'll also allow you to spread your funds as well, because if you're not captain Aguero and Salah, etc., you can, have maybe VVD, Laporte, and Maguire at the back, and maybe a premium striker with maybe a Calvert-Lewin and Abraham this year, just for example. But the more we're talking about these week on week, those big striker captaincy calls are quite rare, actually, aren't they? So anyway, what are your thoughts? And Paul, could you give us a quick rundown of today's action?
In the early game, Newcastle beat Sheffield United 3-0. I guess the only really high-owned players were Dean Henderson, just mentioned, in goals. He picked up tier 2 saves, so even though he conceded 3, he still ended up with 3 points. So 656 managers in top 1,000 on him. And Baldock didn't get any points, and he's owned just behind him on 641, so 64.1%. Alnsick Maximin picked up 11 points. He's only owned by one person in the top 1,000. Could be a nice differential, 7.8 million. Unfortunately, I don't think Newcastle have any single game days or game days where you'd want to captain them. So it would only be those flush with transfers, I think, that would make that move.
Yeah.
Villa 1, Chelsea 2. So Grealish owned by 38%. He only picked up 1 point after getting booked. Mount was the second most owned player in that game. 177 managers, and just picked up the 2 points, although it did look quite threatening.
I thought he looked really good in the first half, especially, didn't he? Really dangerous.
Unfortunate for the owners of Abraham and James, who 30 managers and 47 managers in top 1,000 on those, only picking up the solitary point from coming on as a sub. And then I guess the Everton-Liverpool 0-0 game, was a lot of ownership in here. Surprisingly, Van Dijk, who picked up 10 points, it's only owned by 74% in the top 1,000. I would have thought that would have been well over 90. Wow. Trent picked up 7. He had quite a lot of passes at half time, but I don't think he obviously didn't make too many in the second half. 84% in the top 1,000 on him. Unfortunate for the Robertson and Salah owners. So that was 68 and 429 in the top 1,000. Obviously, didn't pick up any points at all. And same with Joe Gomez, he picked up the point from coming on off the bench, 81 managers. Richarlison picked up 4, got tackles. Or was it shots? No, shots. He picked up shots, sorry. And Calvert-Lewin, owned by 11%, he just picked up the 2 points, as did Manny, who's owned by 299 managers. So defence on top there. Van Dijk and Trent owned by quite a lot of the top 1,000. I guess those that captained one of those two would have won out today.
Cool. So over the 4 games, so I captained Aguero, the same as Dan. I captained Ings on Friday, Jimenez yesterday, and VVD today. So I'm reasonably happy, actually. Dan, you were Aguero, Ings.
Who was I yesterday? Do you know what? I'm pretty pissed. I went for. I was going to have Soyuncu's captain on Tuesday, I think it is, when Leicester play Brighton. Is it Tuesday? Bear with me. Hang on. Yeah.
Yep.
On the 23rd, Leicester play Brighton. So I was going to have Soyuncu captain there. Those kept looking at it, thought, do you know what? I would like Vardy for that. So I thought, do you know what? I'll move Ings onto Vardy so I can have him for Watford and Brighton. And he could be so I changed the captaincy to Vardy, didn't I? And typical Jimenez, then
Right.
Jimenez. If I'd have left it on him,
Yeah.
so I actually made a transfer and lost 7 points. So brilliant,
Classic.
and then Van Dijk today. So I was pretty happy with that.
And Paul, I think you've smashed it, haven't you, in this last week?
Yeah, I've done okay. Not so much yesterday, but Henderson mentioned last week I was going to captain him, so got his 15 points on Wednesday. So I sat with O'Connell. Like I had forgotten that I had O'Connell on my team from Sheffield United.
Yeah.
The news came out that he was injured, and I still wanted to minimise the amount of transfers I was going to make, knowing that I needed a Man United player and a Man City player in the following week. And we'll talk about the new upcoming fixtures that have been announced coming up. But I needed Richarlison for a captaincy day there as well. So the only way that I could lose O'Connell and someone else to bring in a decent Man United and Man City player was to lose Aubameyang. So on Friday night, I took Aubameyang out and brought in Bruno Fernandes, captain Bruno. So did well on Friday night. And then yesterday, it was a toss-up between Vardy and Jimenez. Yeah. And I captained Vardy because he was lower owned in the top 1,000. Positive differential. So I wasn't too disappointed. Appreciate there was like as Dan mentioned, there was a 7-point gap. So I captained Vardy yesterday and then Van Dijk today.
Very nice. Some big hauls for us, guys. So I think I've moved up, not including today's games. I moved up from like 6,000 odd to about 4,800. So I'm hoping for another rise now. Obviously after that, I think Paul, you were roughly around the top 1,000. So
I was 1,200. I was 1,200 last week, and I was about 800 and something before today's games kicked off. But again, hoping for a small jump with having Van Dijk as captain.
And what about you, Dan?
So I was 383rd this morning, but again with Van Dijk captain, I'd have hoped to have gone up a bit there. Yeah. I'd actually gone down because I started in 299 on Wednesday night, but not having De Bruyne and not having Fernandes is just killing me. So maybe the listeners can help me with that in a little while.
Okay. So in the chat, hello, Cian McKenna. Hello, Hornet FPL. James Davis says, new flag, Dan. And Cian says, Dan, are you a Trump supporter?
No, I just picked up America flag. Someone was like on Facebook. I'm addicted. Like, I've got addictive personality, so I don't touch heroin or nothing. But like Facebook Marketplace, I just can't. I'll just go through it. Someone's like, free America flag. It's like, oh, I'll have it. And like around their house and they'll have it. Like, just the stuff I've been buying, mate, recently, not mainly to try and sell on and make a profit. I'm just addicted to Facebook Marketplace. So I was like, I'll have that. That'll do. I'll change it up, see if anyone noticed, just to see if anyone's listening. Will wants the YouTube video, like YouTube viewers up, doesn't he? So check people.
It's gone viral, mate. It's gone viral anyway.
Yeah. Not a Trump supporter, no.
Hello, hello, Pumpy Lad 96 Pup. Hornet, Auber versus Norwich is the annoying fixture on the horizon. Indeed, he is. And a Sky Classic man of the match decision. So there was something in the questions earlier. I think Mount got an 8, Aspilicueta got a 7, but got man of the match.
Yeah, that's happened a few times now, and it's so annoying.
Frustrating, yeah. Laporte and Essential next season will probably be under 10. I'm not sure he'll be under 10. I think he's over that now. He's like 10.3. I think he'll be closer to 11. But we'll see. Bebe, how's it going? Hornets, I think you're right, Andrew. Oh, yes. You missed the odd big haul, but those players you mentioned are so consistent. Absolutely. Bebe gutted about Salah tonight. Didn't hear he wouldn't start, let alone not be one of the 5 subs. Yeah, there was a rumour that he hadn't trained before the FPL deadline on Wednesday. But a quick question from Cian: is it now worth bringing in Mane, Salah on Wednesday? What are your thoughts on that, Paul?
Crystal Palace. tend to play well when they play against the big teams away from home.
Yeah.
So in any format of fantasy football, I'm trying to avoid Mane and Salah, and I still think the warrants holding their defence at least until they've won the league.
Yeah.
So I certainly won't be, with my low transfer count as well, I certainly won't be bringing any in. I guess I didn't appreciate how well owned Mane and Salah were until I looked at the figures before coming on here. So I would have said it would be a nice differential, but it doesn't look like that's the case. So yeah, I personally wouldn't bring in.
Cool. Okay. So next, then we're going to have a look at the fixtures. So we've had the next lot of scheduled fixtures taking us through to Monday, 13th of July. So, Dan, could you give us your early thoughts on the new fixtures?
Yeah. So from the 4th to the 13th of July, the latest batch we got. As someone with not a lot of transfers, I was pretty pleased, really, because it's not very hard to get through, to be honest. If you've got a Manchester United and a Manchester City player, like, I think they could be captain maybe 6 times out of the 9 or 10 game days there are. The only tricky one is you got Everton, Spurs. I've got Richarlison, so do you know what, I'm pretty tempted to hold him, and he'll do. I did look at bringing a Spurs player in, but I'm like, really? So I just don't know. Spurs, they've got some nice fixtures, but I just had to remember that Mourinho's the manager. I don't know. But yeah, there's another single game day is Southampton United, Manchester United. But again, if you got Fernandes, you're pretty set. But nothing really, I don't think it's too hard. Maybe the 7th, Leicester Arsenal, Chelsea Palace, who was there? Watford Norwich. That's not a great day really, but I've got Vardy, so maybe I'll keep Vardy actually. Arsenal away, how they're playing, he might be the thing. But yeah, Manchester City, Manchester United cover most of them. It's just that Everton, Spurs really. If you don't have one of them players, what do you do? Do you bring someone in, or do you just skip it? And yeah, I don't think they're too hard anyway. I was certainly pleased with them. I say with the amount of transfers I've got, to see that there's nothing too difficult there.
Watching the Spurs game, one thing I thought was interesting, I thought Son looked pretty sharp, but he was also on all corners and free kicks as well, which he hasn't been previously. So that for me was something which, has piqued my interest a lot more as well. He is a striker, obviously, in Sky, which isn't ideal, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting one. Paul, anything from you with the fixtures?
The only thing, the same notes as what Dan's got, the only thing that I would add is on the Man City players, the 3 fixtures, on 2 of them, you won't see their lineups, the later games. So you've got that problem again if you're trying to captain Aguero as a differential or captain Jesus as a differential. Let's see how Laporte does. He came off in the last game. It looks like he's back in the ball, played really, really well.
Yeah.
Not that you have to play well, not that you have to defend well when you're playing Arsenal these days, but you think KDB is probably the most assured for starts in that team. So it goes in towards my thinking for bringing the Man City player in tomorrow as well. Okay,
so I'm sure we'll dive more into this now when we talk about our transfers and captains for the coming game week. So we had a question off at FPL Foxy at Dancy. Who are the perfect purr as in a cat? I think that's a little dig there, mate, about the cat. Who are the perfect captain choices for the forthcoming days, please? So I'll just go through mine first. So if I just get the fixtures for this game week, for this coming game week, then. So we're up to Monday, the 22nd of June, which is tomorrow. So I'm really, really glad I got Aguero. I think he's going to start, and I think he's going to haul. I think, unless Burnley perhaps some kind of fight, they're 16-1 to get a result. Man City are 1-7. I think Aguero is a great option tomorrow. On Tuesday, we've got Leicester and Brighton, Spurs, West Ham. I have got Harvey Barnes. They do play Brighton, but I'm a bit concerned. He's coming off early, and there were rumours of a knock as well. And just what I mentioned then about Son. So I'm quite tempted, because I'm chasing as well. I'm quite tempted to release a bit of cash and potentially move Aguero to Son on that Tuesday. And that also then gives me the captain then for the following Monday the 6th as well against Everton. So I think Son, last week I think we said he was 2% owned. So, I think if he turns it on, I thought he looked sharp against Man United. He was up against Wan-Bissaka, which is never an easy task. So I think I might be doing that. On the Wednesday matches then, so we've got United, Sheffield United, Newcastle, Villa. So I haven't got a Man United player as yet. Sheffield United, they're going to have Egan suspended, and Henderson is also ineligible as well. So I do think it's a bit of a risk going without a United player now. But Jimenez against Bournemouth, I thought Bournemouth, were really poor yesterday. Jimenez's ownership again is reasonably low. I can't see Liverpool scoring more than a couple of goals against Palace, so I think Jimenez is going to be my option there. On Thursday, it's interesting actually because you've got Man City playing, so my kind of instant thought there would be De Bruyne, but I'm quite tempted because I've still got Ings to have a go of Ings against Arsenal. You get to see the starting lineup of that first match. We'll get to know if Ings is playing, but Southampton and Ings I thought looked very, very sharp. Arsenal just awful at the back. They've also lost Leno as well, so I'm quite tempted to have a bit of a punt on Ings there, I think. And then go into the Saturday then, which is the following game week. We've got Villa and Wolves on early, so I get to see the teams there. So I've got both Jimenez and Jota, so I get the choice there. And then on the Sunday again then, Watford, Southampton, because it's the FA Cup weekend. I have got Ings, but I'm also potentially, because Watford also have a single game day, I think on Tuesday the 7th of July, which is against Norwich, I'm potentially tempted to bring in Sarr for that fixture and also that one as well. So, it's a couple of subs, I know, but it covers off a couple of games in the future as well. So they're my plans there. Dan, can we come to you next? Because the question was initially aimed at you. What are your transfer and captain plans?
Pretty similar. So tomorrow night, I've only got Aguero. I'm pretty sure he's going to start as at home. He didn't start the last game. Jesus, I just don't think he cuts it, does he, for me? So I think, if anything, that Aguero's going to start. If he doesn't start, I'll probably have to bring in De Bruyne. But yeah, Aguero's my choice if he starts. If not, I'll be De Bruyne. The 23rd, I'll be on Vardy at home to Brighton. They've just beat Arsenal. I think they'll be pretty pleased with that, won't they? Maybe they can sort of relax a bit. I don't know. They're not going to go down, so I don't know. So Vardy for that. If not, he'll, presume he'll start. If not, Soyuncu is as good as any. 24th, Jimenez at home to Bournemouth. They were pretty awful, weren't they, Bournemouth? Again, I might bring in Fernandes because I don't have him, and he's just killing me every game. Like I'm just throwing away 14 points or something. So Jimenez, the main one, he'll be the captain regardless. 25th, I've got Aguero penciled in, but I don't think he's going to start because Man City play in the FA Cup at the weekend. So I can imagine Jesus will start the Chelsea away and just...
Yeah, I agree with that.
They'll keep Aguero for the FA Cup. But I'll captain Aguero. I could bring in Aubameyang, Southampton away. You get to see the lineup. Could even take a punt on Lacazette or something, Job. But Arsenal don't...
Have you got Ings down in your team?
I got rid of him for Vardy.
Oh, of course.
I was going to keep him because I thought, for that again, on the Sunday, I was going to captain him in against Watford. So I'll go to that now, but that's going to be Sarr. And then, Jimenez on the 27th when it's Wolves Villa again. That's my week ahead. So, that's all my captains. That's who will be, unless I hear that Aguero's not starting. It's just whether I'm going to make any moves to bring in Fernandes and De Bruyne to... Yeah. I just don't know. Everyone's got them. We're on position 300 of. I could bring them in just to stay where I am, and I will just sort of stay with the pack. Or I could go something different to try to get to the top 100, but then I could end up finishing about 800 or something. So I'm like, what do I just sort of consolidate and just bring them both in and accept that I should have had them? Or, that's the only...
How about your mini leagues? I think your mini leagues...
Terrible.
Oh, right,
yeah.
okay. Well,
Tim Bat, Tim Barry and people like that are killing me in them. So I've got no chance of doing anything in them. But I just think, is it more respectable? When people are listening next year, I could be like, I finished like 200 or something. Or I could say, look, I came 800, but I could have come 200, but I was trying to risk it.
I purposely picked all the crap players, so
Yeah, should I just play it safe and just get a top 200 or something? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I need to sleep on it still and have a think at work tomorrow.
We'll put out a poll on that, Dan, I think, so you can get the views of everyone on our chat.
People can help me.
Exactly. If anyone has got any views on that in the chat, please let us know. A couple of questions in the chat. Pompey lad, who do you three support? Paul, do you want to go first?
I support Hibernian from Hibs from Scotland.
Hibs fan. And Dan, you're pretty eclectic, I think, aren't you?
I don't really support anyone, to be honest. Like, I've had season tickets at Norwich, like, that have been given and stuff, but I'm just a fan of whoever's in my fantasy team. Do you know what I mean? So that confuses the kids, like, when they've both got Norwich shirts and on Friday when Ings scores, and I'll give it a little, like, fucking get it. Like, oh, no. And I'm thinking, like, yes, like, results. So, yeah, no one really. I'm a pretty rubbish football fan.
And I'm a Spurs fan, so I was loving life a few years ago at the latter years of White Hart Lane. But since then, since we had that year at Wembley, and since Jose's been in charge, it's been a bit dire. But I am excited about Bergwijn. I thought he looked very, very good the other night. So, Paul, on to you then. Your transfers and captains starting tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring in, like I say, I saved money now by downgrading Aubameyang to Bruno Fernandes. So got enough money, surprisingly, to do O'Connell to KDB. So
that's a hell of an upgrade.
Yes, it's a nice upgrade to have. I just think, like, now I've got rid of Aubameyang, I need a captain on Thursday night as well, away to Chelsea. Yeah. And I think that De Bruyne's most likely to start both games. Obviously, we'll see the team sheets tomorrow. Things could change. And Laporte, I had mentioned last week, and I could still get Laporte in based on the formation of my team. I'm just concerned that even if he does start, because you need 75 minutes in Sky to get a clean sheet, and he could easily come off after 70 minutes if the game's already done and dusted at that point. Yeah. I know it's picking up probably 5 points from having tier 2 by that point, but that would be my concern, knowing that he came off earlier in the last game as well. So De Bruyne, and now he's on penalties as well, or we don't know that he's on penalties over Aguero, there's a good chance that he is. So De Bruyne in tomorrow for captaincy. Tuesday night, I've got Vardy as well, so it'll be Vardy to Brighton. I've got Harvey Barnes as well, so although Damari Gray looked really good when he came on for Barnes at the weekend. Wednesday night, I've got Jimenez, I've got Van Dijk that I could captain, but I think I'm going to captain Bruno Fernandes at home to Sheffield United, based on what you'd mentioned earlier about Egan not playing, Henderson not playing. They looked really poor when they went. I appreciate they were a man down at that point, but they went to 4 at the back instead of their traditional 5 at the back. I don't know if they've got the personnel to come in and play 5 at the back, so it might be a complete different formation switch for them as well.
What a mistake that was by Ender Stevens as well. That was an absolute shocker, wasn't it? Unbelievable. Absolutely turned the game on its head, didn't it?
Yeah. I was probably like, when I was looking at the ownership at that point, I probably wasn't as concerned then, because I'm looking down and I've got the goalkeeper and Baldock as well. Yeah. But knowing that I hadn't captained them and they're so highly owned, the pair of them are so highly owned in the top 1,000, I wasn't too disheartened by it. That'll be my Wednesday night, Bruno Fernandes, and the Thursday would be De Bruyne again.
Cool. What about the Saturday and the Sunday? Because obviously we're not recording again, so we've got Villa or Wolves on Saturday. Yeah,
so I've got Jimenez, so it'll be Jimenez captain against Villa, and then now I'd thought about getting Sarr in for someone for the Watford Southampton game. I don't like Southampton's fixtures after it, but Ings looked really good, and Jimenez plays on the Saturday, so he's played his game for the week. You get the 2 for 1 by moving on to Ings, and I'm essentially getting 3 to 1 because we'll be getting the captaincy points as well. Yeah. So I'm really tempted by that move just now. Not set in stone, but that's what I'm thinking.
Cool. Okay. So on to questions then. So we've had a whole load of questions. So thank you very much for everyone who sent in some questions. If you've got any questions in the chat, please feel free to put them in now so we can answer them. First one off Tim Barry. Is Pogba suddenly a great asset to have for the running? Dan, what are your thoughts on Pogba?
No, not for me. He probably is a good option, but I can't see past Fernandes. Like, if I'm going to bring someone in, that'll be Fernandes. Pogba, like, he has been great in the past for everything, a bonus, passing, tackle, shots. You know, he can do it all. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He's one to monitor. Like, he may well... I didn't check out what he did on... he only came on as a sub, didn't he, the other night?
He did, but he looked good. And
yeah. He won the penalty, didn't he?
I think he changed the game, actually, when he came on.
Yeah. No, he's been really good in the past. I'm just so wary of Pogba. Like, I've had... He's done well for me. Then I've had him in and he just ain't done nothing. Or, well, he's been injured and stuff. But yeah, there's no doubt he's got the potential to be a really good Sky pick. But I won't, just not at this stage of the season. Do you know what I mean? I ain't got enough transfers really and be a luxury. But yeah, Fernandes is the main one for me, really.
Paul, what's a good Pogba?
Paul, just echo what Dan said. We talked about diversifying our teams, like cover captaincies, and we don't know what the last 3 game weeks look like as well. Would we ever be captaining him over Fernandes? I don't think so. Knowing that Fernandes is now on penalties as well, we've seen on Friday night. So not for me. I'm not flush on transfers either. So
okay. I think he's a good option, but it's because I'm not putting in Bruno because I don't see the point. I'm going to go for Pogba and just oppose Bruno. I agree that Bruno has been fantastic, but he hasn't played in this. He hasn't played in a team when Pogba is there. I thought Pogba looked very advanced when he came on. I know that Bruno had the penalty. He won't get the penalty every game, but I think that Bruno could potentially bring the best out of Pogba as well. So I think Pogba's a great option. Obviously, Bruno is the best option, but I also think that Pogba is a great option. Question from Ian Parrin at Planet Sky. What percentage of your remaining transfers have you already allotted for planned swaps for captaincies compared to leaving aside for injuries and changes in form or fixtures? So I'm planning 2 in the next 3 weeks. I've only got 5 left, so I haven't got many left. So my 3 then will probably to bring in someone like Pogba, maybe change a striker and leave 1 left. But I've only got 5 left. Paul, what about your thoughts on that?
I've got 6 left, and I've planned 1.5. If I do the Ings move, I'll say that I'm doing. Say I'm doing the Ings move, then so I've planned 2 out of the 6, so 33%. Yeah. I think with the fixtures, I'll probably want 1 or 2 moves more for captains, and then if there's no injuries, I'll be just playing for differentials at the end.
Yeah, cool. And how about you, Dan?
If anyone's watching, I've got all my 6 planned out.
Look at this.
No taking in for injuries. Take that down for anyone sees that. I've got all my 6 plans. Because like I said, the latest round of fixtures takes us up to July the 13th.
Yeah.
There's only 3 rounds of games after that, isn't there? Like, the last set of games is all on the one day. So you've only got like that, like the ones on the 14th, 15th, 16th of July, then the 18th, 19th, 20th. But the FA Cup semi-finals is on that 18th, 19th, 20th weekend. So there's going to be a few on the 21st, 22nd. So you've got to look at the teams that's still in the FA Cup, and that's trying to work out who's going to go through. You think like United will beat Norwich, wouldn't they? Sheffield United will probably beat Arsenal, Chelsea, Leicester, Newcastle, Man City. So it's trying to work out. You basically don't want to get to that 18th, 19th, 20th weekends. And do you know what I mean? If where's the game? Like Sheffield United. Oh no, hang on. Skip that one. Leicester play Spurs. Leicester will play. Oh no. Do you know what I mean? You've got to think what games are going to be called off because the teams are playing in the FA Cup that weekend. Yeah. So you don't want to be stuck with something like, I don't know, Watford v, I don't know, even worse, West Ham v Bournemouth or someone like that, on a Saturday because the other games are off. It won't be that bad because there's only 4 teams going to be in the semi-finals. But yeah, I've planned them all out and just sort of going to hope that the spread I've got, because I don't have too many players from all the same team. So I'm hoping there's going to be something there. Like I'll have some coverage. But yeah, I've basically planned all my transfers, but I'm just trying to weigh up if I should do the Fernandes De Bruyne or go different with Aguero, Rashford instead.
Dan, with your plans, knowing that if Liverpool win the league, you'll be sitting with Van Dijk and Trent, I assume.
Yeah.
Have you planned to move them out at any point? I'm not asking for who you're going to move them on to, but
I'm just going to keep them now because I think they'll play regardless. When it'll just be like Salah, Mane, will just be rotated and stuff like that. Really, I'm pretty sure that Van Dijk's going to play the majority of them still. Like I don't know. Right, Robertson was nowhere today, was he? I don't know. I really don't know, mate. I just haven't got enough transfers to get rid. But I've only got Trent and Van Dijk anyway, I think, is my only Liverpool coverage. So I'll keep both of them just in case Van Dijk don't play. I've got Trent, but no, I'll keep them. I'm pretty pleased to just have 2 Liverpool and I'll keep the 2 I've got.
Just while it's in my head, and because it was mentioned earlier in the chat, that Arsenal-Norwich game, I think it's like the middle of next week. So Aubameyang's already played 2 games so far. He's got Southampton in midweek. They then got the FA Cup game on the weekend. Now I think he's very likely to play in the FA Cup game because it's all they've got left really. And I think if he plays midweek as well, I'd be surprised if they played him 5 games in 2 weeks. So I think that Norwich game could potentially be the time where they give Lacazette or Nketiah or whatever else a bit of a run out. But it's just a thought. It's obviously a plum fixture and it's a massive risk. But I just can't see him playing 5 games. It would be 5 games in some 14 days. That's it's unsustainable. And I'm not sure who Arsenal would have after that, but they would also have a game on the weekend as well. So my guess would be they would probably rest him against Norwich, leave him on the bench and bring him on if they're not winning, and then potentially play him in the game on the weekend. But
after that Norwich game, they then got Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham and Liverpool. So you think they're going to want him for them games, aren't you? So if they were looking to rest him, it would be either side of the FA Cup game. So yeah, Southampton and Norwich. If he doesn't start the Southampton game, that's probably when some people are going to jump on. So I've earmarked him to come in, but if he's not starting Southampton, well, you just abandon that move. And
But only your thoughts really, because you'd be gutted if you held on to him all that time and then he was on the bench against Norwich. So anyway, question from James Wood: Spurs look rusty versus Man U. I thought Spurs were okay actually, but I'll likely want one for their match with Sheffield United and beyond. Punt on Son or Bergwijn. I thought it was Bergwijn. I'm only saying Bergwijn because that's what they refer him to on Sky. Or are there bonus hogs under the radar that would make the captaincy less hit or miss? I think it depends really, on whether you're chasing or not. Both Son and Bergwijn will be very, very low owned. Bergwijn even less so. Like I say, I think Son is a really good option. He tends to play 90 under Mourinho, which he doesn't. He didn't under Poch as well. He's on set pieces. Had a massive rest. Look sharp. Dan, your thoughts? Son or Bergwijn or another bonus hog under the radar?
I just haven't looked at any Spurs players. Are there any players who are getting bonus with Spurs? They're so off my radar. Yeah. I did think about Kane, but why did he play 90 minutes for? He played football since January. They got 5 subs. Mourinho only makes 2. Is that right? And Kane plays 90 minutes. They're just killing that guy, aren't they?
Very strange one.
Unbelievable. But no, I like Bergwijn. He was good goal and all that. He did when he first come in. Is he 9.2 million? Is he down as a midfielder?
He is, yeah.
That's what I sort of like. Son, I don't know with Son. I know people our mate Mark Edward, he's brought him in maybe 3 times a season and he's been sent off or something each time. So do you know what I mean? If Mark Edward is bringing in Son, I'm not touching him. But if he doesn't, yeah, maybe. Because Spurs, you could even move, if you don't need anyone for the 23rd, you could bring in a Spurs player on the 2nd of July, couldn't you, for Sheffield United? Then what they got? Everton on that captaincy day, the single game day. Then they play Bournemouth. And the Everton and Bournemouth game, you get to see the lineups for. So you could move into a Spurs player there. Would be pretty handy.
I thought
actually
all
of them you'd see the lineups. Yeah. The 2nd, the 6th and the 9th. But I say 2nd, the 6th and the 9th, that's pretty tight turnaround.
Thought Aurier looked good again, and I don't own him myself, but I think he's very good on bonus as well, on tackle bonus and things. I think he's 8.5 million, so he could potentially be another option. In defence, Spurs don't keep many clean sheets. I think they've got the joint worst in the league, which I was very surprised that they kept 4. I think it's 4 out of 30, which is just ridiculous. But he does get forward. Had a really good chance at the start of the game, actually, I think. And but yeah. Paul Son, Bergwijn, or someone else?
Yeah, I was going to mention Aurier as well.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Oh, sorry, mate. I stole your thunder there. Apologies.
No, you're all right. If you're looking for bonus, then as you say, the tackles.
Quick question in the chat off Darren Shannon. Who to bring in for Egan replacement? Would you risk bringing in me before the City game? I probably wouldn't look at a Burnley player, in all honesty. Any objections, guys?
The fixtures are okay, I think.
Yeah, the fixtures are all right. If you you could even be. It does seem a bit silly to not bring him in before a game, but yeah, you'd skip the City game. But if you bring in a Burnley player, you're then covered off for that Palace Burnley game, aren't you? Single game day. So I wouldn't go against it, but yeah, maybe I'd just hold off for the Man City game in case it's a 5-0.
They're at home to Watford before that as well. So and you see the lineup there, so you could bring them, avoid the City game, barring no injury, bring them in for the Watford home game.
I stand corrected, Darren. That is a very good idea.
Yes.
Yes. At Sam Sky Sports FF, how many transfers do you think is necessary to keep back for the last 3 games per team, which hasn't been released yet? Especially considering the last game, everyone plays at the same time, so you can see all the lineups. I'd be amazed if any of us have got any transfers left before the last game of the season. Maybe one. Dan, thoughts on how many transfers ideally to have left for the last 3 games?
So like I said, just them. It's 4 sort of sets of fixtures, isn't it? But one's all on the same day. I haven't planned to use any in that because I've only got 6 transfers left. Yeah. But yeah, like I'd always said, like I think we'd said with Luke Williams in that before, like if you could actually have a transfer left on the last day would be nice because you could then just, if, I don't know, Chelsea is starting Abraham instead of Giroud, you could just do a swap like that, can't you? Aguero to Jesus. I've never had a transfer left on the last day. It's just not the way I do it. But I don't know. Ideally, probably 2 in case there is a random single game day. But everyone's lows on transfers. Like it's in the transfer stats for the previous week. Everyone's down to like single figures mainly. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's in the same boat. So I wouldn't really sweat it too much if you haven't got any transfers left for those last 3 game days.
Okay. I think, ideally, if we think about 40 subs over a season, 1 per week roughly, if you've got 3 left going into the last 3, I think you're in good shape. Paul, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, if you've got 3, you're in really good shape. I think. Hopefully, aim to have 2 left.
Yeah.
I think that feels about right.
Cool. Question from Atornat FPL. Would you still want Orba for that Norwich fixture after yesterday? So I just put my thoughts on that. Bringing him in just seems a wasted 2 transfer move. I think the only thing I would say opposing my point was even though Aubameyang didn't do anything against Brighton, his underlying stats in that game were very good. I think he had something like 7 shots, 4
had a lot of shots,
3 on target. So
did he hit the bar, or do I imagine that?
Yeah. So I think if he does play, I can see him returning. I think my question would be if he plays, just due to the FA Cup straight before and the Wolves game after. Any more thoughts on Orba for the Norwich game, guys?
I think I might skip it, to be honest. If he doesn't start, because you'll see the lineup for the Southampton game. So if he's not starting that, I won't bring him in. My only thing is like if I want to bring him in, it's off Vardy onto him, back to Vardy. So it's 2 transfers. Just to cover it, but I could cover it by just risking Aguero on the 25th and even, Richarlison or Vardy on the 1st. So I really think I might just swerve it. I'll say I need to have a proper think, but at the moment I'm thinking I'm not going to bother because there's 2 transfers and I need to remember that Arsenal are like a mid-table team now. They're not, they're not a big 6 team.
Paul, your thoughts on Aubameyang?
We picked them up last week. I don't know, it's tough. I think I'll reassess it in the time. I've just lost them, obviously, through circumstances. And I think to bring him in, then I would probably need 2 transfers. So I won't be able to make a like for like. Again.
I think if you've got a lot of transfers, if you've got like 9 or 10 left, then it's probably a good move if he starts. But
if you're sitting with Salah or Mane and
that's a good show.
want to make the move, I could see value in doing that.
Yeah. So we've had some questions. So we've had the same sort of question of at Mank Mark, at BrookieBoy1970, and at Marius Ayanita. Would we look to ditch Liverpool assets basically after the Palace game? Dan, you're keeping Van Dijk and Trent, but that's more by necessity than design because of your low transfers. I've currently got Van Dijk and Trent. I think I'm going to take out Trent and leave Van Dijk. I still think Van Dijk will play the vast majority of games. He gets the minutes, he gets the passes bonus. I do think that Klopp will rotate. I think we'll see a few of the youngsters. I also thought Keita looked, really good this evening. Lallana, I think, will get some minutes. If Shaqiri gets back from injury, I think he'll get some minutes. I think Origi will get a lot more minutes. So I personally think that they will rotate, but I'm keeping Van Dijk. Paul, what are your thoughts on Liverpool?
Yeah, I've got no immediate plans to take them out. The way that I was going to, if O'Connell wasn't injured, I was going to take Trent out tomorrow for Laporte, obviously based on what I'd mentioned earlier about Laporte's minutes and the reasons I had to make the moves that I did. They're going to sit in my team for the foreseeable. I'm in no rush to get rid of them, but if it does appear, as you say, that Klopp will start rotating a lot and putting understrength teams in, then there's a couple of opportunities. There was one when they played Burnley at home on the first game week, on the first game day of the week, be able to move on. They played Brighton in the middle, another point, so possibly be able to move them on then as well. Or against Spurs, like before that Spurs Everton game. So there's opportunities to take them out where you're gaining an extra game from who you're bringing in. I've just got no immediate plans written down for it.
Okay, we've got a question at Heskimo_SkyFF. Who would you captain out of Fabianski or Burn on Tuesday? Neither seem great.
Fabianski or Burn?
It's not the most...
Bloody hell. That's like asking if you want a punch in the face or kick in the balls, isn't it? Jesus.
So,
Fabianski or Burn?
So West Ham are home to Chelsea. That's the Fabianski one.
Fabianski, I think, might get save bonus or something.
Oh, actually, according to this, there's only one game on the Tuesday. Brighton Man United, or am I looking at next week's now? Might be looking at next week.
Leicester. It's Leicester.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm looking at next week.
Brighton, Tottenham, West Ham.
Sorry, I'm looking at next week. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd probably go for Fabianski for save points personally. Can't see Burn getting much against Leicester, but we got loads of questions, guys. Still, a question off at Hornet FPL. Is Aguero back to being an unpickable fantasy player after holding him for tomorrow? Considering his benching on Wednesday, KDB seems the only asset to hold now for the remainder. If I was high up there, I think I'd keep Aguero because, as he proved last week, he played 12 minutes, could have easily have got a haul.
Easy.
So I think I would hold him if I could. The only reason I'm not is because I'm low on
especially with 5 subs. Like I'm pretty confident he's gonna see some time each game, isn't he? With 5 subs,
Yeah.
So I think to keep him in Hornet or no, Man City got to play Watford. He always gets a hat trick against Watford, and they played Norwich, Jesus, and Bournemouth, Brighton.
He's got a good record against Chelsea as well. In fact, he's probably got a good record against everyone, though.
Yeah. No, I'm going to keep him, but I know it is so annoying. But I don't have De Bruyne, but I'd have been quite happy with that Aguero assist, and whatever points, 8 points it was as captain on, but it's only because De Bruyne was goal, man of the match, all this, that, and the other. But I'm just going to keep him now, I think, because you just dream that he's going to get a hat trick or 4 goals against someone, and he'll be my captain, and he's not particularly massively owned, so I think just keep him. With 5 transfers, I think to keep him, but for next season, I might just swerve him.
Okay. Just weary of time, I'll ask the last question in the chat, and what we'll do for any questions we haven't answered from Twitter, we will go on the Twitter and ask, and kind of answer on there. So last question from George Butler: would you move TAA to Auber? So for that Norwich game, that's potentially not a bad shout, I think. Anyone against that, guys? I can see nods.
No, seems fine, yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, so quick update on the second half Hub League. In 10th place, we've got Edwin Robertson on 932. In 9th place, we've got Liam Stevens on 935. 8th place, Stephen Wernberg on 935. 7th place, Peter Gilderdale on 942. 6th place, Arwin Vobe 944. 5th place, Dan Sherwood 945. 4th place, David Rowe 947. 3rd place, Pete Kemp, shot up from 11th to 3rd, 948. Some really big names in here. 2nd place, Oliver Brown on 967. But in 1st place, Cian McKenna, who's in the chat, he's on 1,006 points. He's actually, 39 points clear of the Hub second half league. So congratulations, Cian, in the chat.
He needs to change that to Sky Kangaroo, not FPL Kangaroo.
Yes, you do. Sky Kangaroo, brilliant.
Can't be FPL Kangaroo when you're better at Sky.
No. Really good stuff, and well done, Cian. You do really well there. Dan's rant. Dan, what are you angry about?
Right. So the fake team news, that annoys me. Do you know what I mean? Come on. If someone's just put like, oh yeah, this is the Man City team. My mate Bill works in the can. Like, come on. Don't read, we've got, we've all got our sources and stuff. And if I've got a source, I know it's a trusted source. And I'll tell a couple of people like you two, like I did in the week. And I won't put it on Twitter because you're just going to get killed for it, aren't you, if it is wrong or something. But I hate the fake news. That annoys me. Team news. Just, that annoys me. And do you know what annoys me as well, right? I spoke to my neighbour. I won't say his name. He won't be listening, but I don't upset him, right? So when we all got furloughed and stuff, I said, like, your ivy, mate, you need to sort this ivy out. It's growing over my fence panels. I paid for that fence. That's annoying, right? Yeah, I'll do it. We've been furloughed for 10 weeks. He ain't done it. Like, what you been doing? Like, he's driving me crazy. I'm going to get round there and just be like, come on, get off the old Netflix. Get that. Like, I'm getting annoyed. He's all right, but the ivy is annoying me. I think that was about all I was annoyed about this week. And don't get me started on the Sheffield United goal. That was just ridiculous.
That was unbelievable, wasn't it? That was that's the kind of incident that, as soon as it happened, I turned to my wife and I was like, oh my God, you never get to see this. And she's like, well, what's the big thing? And I said, it's not just this goal now. It'll be not kind of every time. But the next time it happens, and the time after that, and the time after that, it'll always be questioned. And was the camera in the right place? Was it switched on? But I think it's the first issue in like 9,000 games. So
yeah, I just felt bad for Sheffield United. So I was thinking at the time, if they miss out on something by a point or 2, 2 points, I mean, you'd be gutted. But then obviously today, but that's just so annoying. Like, what's the guy in the VAR doing? Like, fair enough, his watch didn't go off, so he's going to think, oh, okay, well, this ain't flash, so it ain't gone over. But what's the guy in the VAR doing? Like, come on.
It's when there was a few people blaming the linesman, and it's like, would you really be going against the technology that's worked well in the past, like, to make a call like that?
I thought Chris Wilder was funny. He was like, when he was saying, like, the goalkeeper's halfway up the whole end, like, he was in the side netting. Like, do you know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
I've just got one or two minor Twitter rants. It's just things that get on my nerves. One are people who sing when they're winning. It's just a personal thing that gets on my nerves. It's like, if someone does really well, like, oh, look at this, it's fantastic, it's brilliant, but you only ever see them when they've had like a massive haul. That's just a personal thing, mind. I can understand why people do it, because they want. That's why I
like to say, like, I think I'm pretty good at fantasy football, but it is just all on your luck. Like, captaining, I had it on Jimenez and I'll say I put it on Vardy. Like, mistake, I cost myself points. I've used a transfer, but I'm happy to say that I did it just to show that
exactly.
Don't get everything right. Do you know what I mean? And like I'm saying, like, I ain't got De Bruyne, I ain't got Fernandes. Like, I'm still doing all right, but you're just like, I'm happy to say, like, oh, I had a nightmare and stuff. Not just like, oh yeah, my captain done this, or I always see I said to Paul before, like, everyone who's got a football index has like made £1 million. Like, no one ever sort of says about the bad deals they've done.
Exactly.
And like having to, like, I just don't know. It does annoy you, doesn't it? But I just like to be honest, like, just say when I've had a disaster and this, you just got to admit it, ain't you? Like, it's just a game.
Did you see the tweet earlier on? It was somebody championing. I think they were celebrating that all their players were playing in the Sheffield United Villa game, and like at the bottom it was like haha to Lindstrom owners, and then they had Egan was one of their players though.
I did see that, and it got retweeted, and I think he had a bit of stick, didn't he? Yeah. And the other thing is just like, if you're on Twitter with your own teams, fair enough. If you've got opinions, fair enough. Do what you want to a degree. But then there's always this, there was this thing at the start of the year: be nice to people, be kind, la la la. But I'm seeing more and more and more that people are having digs then at people because they've got them in their teams and they don't think they should have. It's just like, just focus on your own team. You'll see a thing, why have they got that? What a stupid move. And it's like, well, no, we all play the game, a different way. There's no right or wrong answer. And only in hindsight. And that's another thing which gets on my nerves. Just be nice. And if you're going to comment, just make, positive comments. Why do you have to be like, you people who are picking this guy, they don't know what they're doing. Just let people play the game and let people say what they want to say. That's just my anyway little rant there. What we've all been waiting for anyway. So neither Paul or I know what is about to happen now, but Dan has got some very exciting news. He's got an exclusive Sky Game change reveal. So Dan, please reveal yourself.
He's just texted me, mate. He said I can't mention it. I've got to wait till no. Before when I'd sort of mooted about having different time captains, we did that on here, didn't we? Where it was like,
yes, we did.
You could select your captain by the first game, or you could sort of let it roll. You couldn't select that captain and then select one for 3. You could basically at 2:30, you could pick someone from the 3:00 game onwards. Do you know what I mean? Basically, there ain't going to be no changes. I believe, this is the info I had, there is not going to be any changes for next season just because all this coronavirus, it's going to be such a tight turnaround. Everything's going to be put on hold to next season. But I always like to know what sort of changes there's going to be. Do you know what I mean? So you can sort of get your head around it. Like when it was before, like when they made reductions, didn't they, for the tackle bonus and shots bonus and stuff like that. But it's basically going to be the same. So we can just sort of carry on next season as we were, which will be handy because it is going to be a quick turnaround into next season. So not really a lot to say on it really, but it's going to be the same. So at least people can get their head around it.
Hang on a minute. Is your exclusive Sky Game reveal that fuck all is happening and everything's going to be exactly the same?
Pretty much, yes.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for that.
That's what I didn't tell you beforehand.
Okay, well, at least we know what's going to happen next year. So next year, in terms of transfers, it will be the same. There'll be one transfer,
2 overhauls, 40 transfers.
Oh, okay. So, apologies then, Dan. So the news is that everything will be the same.
Yeah.
Not just the captains. It's everything. Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Ah, fantastic. Okay. Well, that is news.
What's the latest? That's pretty much set. They might change it now because I've said, but no, I think it's going to be the same just because of such a tight turnaround, and any changes will be the following season.
Ah, excellent. I see. Thank you, Dan. That is interesting. I misread that. I thought you said just about the captaincy, but the whole game is going to be the same, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I'm going to have to edit this out for the podcast because I just gave you a right roast in there, right?
Well, no, it is a bit roasting. It's a bit like the exclusive bit. Yes, it's the same. No, that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I'd leave it in.
Cool. Okay, so that is it from us this week. We'll be back next Sunday at 9 p.m. Dan, where can we find you? Where can we get hold of you?
Twitter, Dan Cox 82, and I'll probably have an article on the Hub early. I don't know, I ain't put it on there actually, mate, but I have done one. So I have got an article ready to go. So we'll have something out early part of this week. So yeah, that and that. Oh, do you want to do an update on our bet? Aubameyang and Kane versus Samatta and Pukki.
Right. So
that's going to be a 0-0 draw.
That's
going to be
it is 0-0. So
they're both junior paint then. Is that how it works?
They're both awful. So
had to extend that to the rest of the season.
Aubameyang has played 2 and scored none.
Yeah,
and Kane has scored. So he's played 1 and scored none, but he has got. He's home to West Ham in the week, isn't he? Pukki has played 1 and scored none. Samatta, he hadn't started, and he's
2 games done now.
He's not scored. So at the moment, it's 0-0. I'd like to think I'm kind of winning in spirit for the fact that I chose.
I'll probably buy you a pint.
Randoms, but we'll see after the games.
I'd also like to say, sorry if we're going to pull, but just like thanks to everyone for listening. And like we've got loads of questions in today. It is really good.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's good that everyone is here, because if not, that is just three blokes like in the garages and
Chat to each other.
kitchens and lofts just talking to each other. So thanks to everyone for your questions. And we like to be listener led, which mainly is like we don't do any work and we just answer your questions. But yeah, thanks to everyone for listening and hope you enjoy.
Great stuff. And Dan also now runs the Fantasy Football Hub Sky Twitter account as well. So just let everyone know it's Dan who's putting out all the polls and tweets and questions and stuff. Paul, where can we find you?
Twitter at Paul McAnulty 1, so it's MCANULTY. I'm happy to answer any questions that come on Twitter as well.
Cool. And my Twitter handle is at Fergie222. Please give us all a follow. So this podcast and video will be on the Fantasy Football Hub Sky and TFF YouTube channel, and also available in all major podcast libraries. If you liked what you watched, please click the like button and remember to subscribe in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. And if you enjoyed your listen, please rate the podcast versions and leave some comments. It helps us increase our rankings, increase our listens and watches, which in turn allows us to continue to improve the production of our work. It also makes sure you don't miss anything. And for the remainder of the season, we're also running a competition with a random draw at the end to win a free annual Premium Hub membership. So please, on the podcasts, please go and leave a comment. It's well worth doing, particularly with the Hub going from strength to strength. Our handles on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok are at FFH_HQ, and our podcast Twitter handle is at FFH_Sky. So please feel free to follow and ask us any questions. Our website is fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, where you'll find everything you need for fantasy football all under one roof, including player comparison tools, the fixture ticker, Opta stats, top player team reveals, and much, much more, which can be used for both Sky and FPL. Also on the website, as Dan has mentioned, he reveals his transfers, captains, a general thought. It's usually on a Friday, but he's obviously, because the deadlines now are staggered, it may change, but he will get an article out every week. It's an essential read if you are a serious Sky player, and I love your articles, Dan. They are up there. They are really, really good. I also write my weekly multi-format diary article, which includes my Sky team transfers, captains, and progress. Dan is also very active in our Sky WhatsApp chat group, along with other great Sky players, including Mark Edworthy, Paul Jones, Luke Wilson, and many others. And this is available to premium Fantasy Football Hub members. Some of the guys in the group are smashing it, with a lot of them in the top 50 overall. If you fancy a free 7-day Hub membership trial, go to fantasyfootballhub.co.uk/free trial and sign up. For our YouTube viewers, the link is below in the description. Sure, everyone knows by now, but the Planet FPL guys do a brilliant Sky podcast every Wednesday. They're having very good seasons. Make sure you tune into them too. And we'll be back live at 9 p.m. next Sunday to give our reaction to the weekend's action and to look ahead to our plans for the remainder of Game Week 47 and going into Game Week 48. You won't want to miss that. So thank you and good night all. Good night.